Not such a great topic tonight. Not a really Friday night mode. Not the best mood. I don't know if you can see me well at all. So maybe I will record a short version of this. But I have been getting a lot of comments, and thank you all for commenting, for writing me, writing your thoughts. We are talking today yet again about the situation, um, the lack of leadership, the situation where in current day and age, as we speak, we are losing hundreds and thousands of lives and possibly more to go. And in this video, I want to ask a question. People who disagree with my vision of this, although I grew up in Ukraine. I was born there and I grew up there. I live now in the United States, and my channel is really not so much about the social events and political events. But yeah, my question to all of you is, how many more lives needs to be lost for people to realize that ha that it's time to make something happen? It's time to um, worry about the world, about the Ukraine existing, about the Ukrainian men not disappearing, so the demographics is not that Ukraine still exists as a country, later on. Um, how many more destructions, how much more infrastructure, cities, all of this, how much more people need to lose to realize that we need some very, very strong negotiations, strong men, strong leaders to negotiate this before it's completely done and over with. I don't look at I don't look right now at this situation in terms of trying to, judge and keep count of all these leaders' faulty things, what they done in the past. We all know who these people are. We all know the dictators of this world. We all know that borders were um, invaded. We also, well, something you may not know or may understand or not, we do have a major conflict inside of Ukraine. We always had these tensions between east and west inside, but they usually didn't go anywhere, before this. But my question to people who have this brilliant strategy, brilliant mind, who are sitting on their couch, watching TV with the remote, sitting hugging their wife and children, and they scream that war needs to go on, that, oh, Ukraine will never be okay, we need to keep fighting, oh, we don't want to give up the territories. My question to you, think about every single family, every single mother. You do you understand the desperation of the elderly people, older people? Um, just, well, I don't, it's, everything is relative, right? I mean, if you have a grown son, you cannot be 25 years old, right? You're at least in your late 40s, you are in your 50s, 60s, 70s, whatever. How many of you who are so smart would give up your children for territories? Would you give up your children for American territories? Would you? Would you give up your children for your somebody you raised, you loved, you cherished, being thrown in a meat grinder with the most corrupt leader in this particular case in the world? I can guarantee you that you wouldn't. Not me, not you, not even American president or anybody else. None of us knows what will happen, what can happen, but not even try, not volunteering for you to be the leader of the country, not willing to do everything to make your country safer, to go and put your ego to the side and go and talk to a tyrant, that you call a tyrant an aggressor, and he surely is. But if you are not like that, I'm talking about the Ukrainian leader right now. If you are not a tyrant, if you are not a dictator, why are you waited for so long? He was only elected because he promised. I share about this in my other video. He promised to get on the knees before Putin and asking for peace, because for those who don't know, the conflict started in 2014, and only in 2022 it expanded to be a full-scale war in Ukraine. So I'm gonna read all the comments. Thank you. Feel free to write your thoughts. Feel free to write your ideas, opinions, and I will read them all in the end of this. I can't stay for too long today, and I'm again in my car. I know as soon as I come home, there is no way in the world I can go live, but I just want to express you. I'm in so much pain. I really take this so close to heart. I truly wish that people would not have to die right now as we speak. I can't imagine. The other day I was drinking tea with my son, and we were talking about things, and he was just telling me, "Mom, imagine right now we are sitting here, we are drinking tea, we are enjoying our conversation, and somewhere those men, half cold, half hungry, half sick, wounded, are just there, just thrown there." You have to know, if you could watch videos from Ukrainian men on the front lines, most of them feel betrayed. Most of them feel betrayed. They also want to know where $350 billion went, as all they have is barely enough for survival. I told you that they have their vests, their protective vests, just they use duct tape to hold their protective vest. I am consistently seeing the announcements in the groups, people asking for our guys, for Ukrainian guys. Well, I live in US now, but for me, they are still my heroes as well, because they are fighting. They are not sitting on a couch and talking. They are fighting, and they don't want to fight. They have no more strength to fight. I just love when people telling me what I need to think. I think that we are all entitled to our opinions, but please, before you come and tell me stuff, you have to understand that some of my very, very close family members are on front lines right now. I cannot tell you what my mother is going through right now, what her husband is going through right now. I cannot tell you all these things, and I promise, like there was some information shared with me, but I can't talk. I was talking to a friend yesterday. We grew up together, and her son is about 14 years old right now, and they already want to groom the children for the future. They're already planning that it's going to be ongoing situation. Like the Ukrainian government is already planning that this going to be an ongoing situation, that the boys needs to, and girls too, I think, in the future, they're trying to get into sending women to war as well. And yeah, they already have a plan. They feel like, okay, we're just gonna be grooming these ones, teaching these ones, and yeah, we're just going to be they want for children in school to have drones, to learn how to put drones together. Do you realize what it means to a child to just to ruin these poor children? Their childhood is already a major wound. My father was 3.5 years old when my father was 3.5 years old when World War II had started in Kiev, Ukraine. They were going to go to the beach. We had Dnipro River. There is Dnipro River in Kiev, but it's a beautiful big river. Back then, it wasn't as not clean, as dirty as it is right now. And so they were just going to the beach. It was June 22nd, 1944. 41, the longest day of the year, and he remembers that when the bombs started falling on Kiev, and they were very, very lucky to be able to escape. And they, it's a long story, but obviously they escaped, because I couldn't be born if he wouldn't escape, right? But it's a horrific story. He was only 3.5 years old. He didn't talk for another year. My dad was, he achieved a lot of things in his life. He was a very driven, very masculine, very smart man. He, till his latest years, the trauma that he gotten, just he only saw the very beginning of the war because they were evacuated. The trauma that I saw in him, what's been going on with him, every May 9th, the Veterans Day, the Victory Day in Soviet Union, and every June 22nd, I just, you just don't understand. Those of you, my dear friends, who think that Ukraine needs to keep fighting, if you are, such a big enthusiast, they take volunteers nowadays. You have to prove what you want. I would never send my son to that meat grinder, not my son or my father, not anybody in my family. I would never, never do that. Not because I don't think that men should not protect. I absolutely believe in this. I always stand for men to learn martial arts, combat, uh, sports. Even though it's hard to watch for me, but I approve that. And for example, I allow my child to learn all these arts so he can defend his future wife, his country, his family if he needs to. But to throw somebody in absolutely useless situations that cannot be won, see, yeah, it is absolutely unfair. It's absolutely unfair, but it can be won. We are outnumbered. Hopefully everybody who's watching has been to elementary school, and you can write down the population of Russia, population of Ukraine, territory of Russian, territory of Ukraine. If Ukraine would invite more people to fight on its ground from Europe or other countries, especially anybody who belongs to NATO, you know exactly what we are playing with. Then everything that humanity ever built, all lives, all hopes, children, everybody will be dead. Do we really want to have the ego fight? Yes, it is tragic. It is extremely unfortunate. By no meaning I think that any of this is fair. By no means I think that Ukraine, people of Ukraine deserve it. Absolutely not. Yes, I agree that America failed at providing security because the invasion should have never happened. In 1994, there were agreements that US will guarantee security and Russia will respect Ukraine's borders. But guess what? This is a great lesson here. For us in our actual life too, in our real life, in our regular life, don't ever give your freedom for a promise. Don't ever bet your life on for a promise. That is something for all of us to learn. I am just like you. We are all in this together, so to speak. We all make mistakes, and you know what? uh on this channel I talk a lot about personal dynamics and relationships, and so many times, the you count, for example, on a man you are with, that he will protect you, he will support you, or you count on a woman you're with, that she will be there when you are sick. And you know what? Sometimes this just doesn't happen. Sometimes people in countries don't keep their promises. But betting your life, your security, that was a horrific lesson. By the way, I still don't know why Ukraine ever agreed to give up nuclear. you know my dad actually taught me this. So although he was very he believes in very traditional gender roles, but he told me, never give a power over yourself, never give the keys to your well-being even to your husband, which I could not believe my dad is saying this. How can you say this? Like, you're supposed to be the one. He told me, never be dependent, never put the keys to in somebody, the keys, like, I don't know how to translate it correctly, but the keys to another person's hands. Not, it doesn't mean not to trust anybody, it doesn't mean not to create a family, but never be that you are at someone's mercy. And that was definitely a horrific mistake in 1994, when Ukrainian government, whoever was, I don't remember right now. Well, actually, I do remember. Yes, we had our first president. In 1991, we start to have, the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, so Ukraine became a sovereign nation. And in 1994, they had those talks. I know that this is, now I understand that this is where they plan all of this. This is when they planned all of this. Why would you offer Ukraine to give up the nuclear? Why? Why Ukraine supposed to give up anything, right? And when US guaranteed security, they didn't know that, we're going to have half a, you know delusional, delirious, like, man who lost his mind many years ago as a president. And of course, that was a perfect situation for Russia to go in. They knew that there would be no other chance, because we literally had a man that had, not only he had brain aneurysm, he wasn't the brightest. I'm sorry, but the previous um, Biden-Harris administration, they were not. I mean, I don't know who from them who was dumber. I really, who was more insane out of both of them. I don't know. It's just Biden have his age not playing into the benefit, but both of them. I don't know. My brain cells were dying when I was listening to either of them. I'm sure I'm not alone, but they were not able to negotiate and stop. I have a question to those of you who say all these horrible things about current president of the United States. How many peace talks, how many attempts for peace Biden-Harris administration had? How many attempts? How many times they tried? All they did is a cold Russian leader, so to speak, a tyrant. Call him this, call him. But meanwhile, he was still killing. He was no, actually they enticed it and made the conflict a lot worse. But ask yourself a question: why they never even consider talking to him, finding a way to resolve an issue? Why it was ceasefire for Palestine and Israel? Ceasefire, ceasefire, ceasefire. Why there was never ceasefire for Russia and Ukraine till Trump came into office? While it was send more stuff, send more money, send more stuff. I want you to understand that there is official information right now about Ukrainian government selling some of the equipment. I don't know how much is, I don't have exact number, but selling for cheap the equipment that they gotten from United States, using the money, buying the mansions, doing whatever they are doing. With 350 billion, I think that Ukraine would be in much better position with all these things. The soldiers, I don't know if you realize that the soldiers some of them are starving. There is no medical supplies. The country is, I'm gonna read the comments in a minute. We can sit here and debate what to do, conditions, but by the time Zelensky says the words conditions, there is hundreds of dead men on the ground. We don't have the luxury to, I'll think about it, make this better. Maybe you have to fight sometimes, and if you're watching my channel, you guys know I don't really like so much talking about these things. I love talking about love and light and all things pretty. But I'm just outraged. And when we don't have leaders like this, and sometimes it doesn't matter your gender and your favorite things to do. You have this very strong understanding of things, and you have very strong position, and you just want for people to wake up. The Ukraine is about to be erased from the planet Earth. How don't you understand this? I got up this morning, I got messages from my family and friends. You don't understand the nightmares they are living in. Believe me, in the beginning of the war, yes, a lot of them wanted the territory back, all these things back. But right now, they want their children back. They want their sons to be alive. They just want to have their sons alive. Do you understand that? How many of you would give your precious daughter, your son, now they grabbing your grandpa, they grabbing anybody. How it is not against the humanity when somebody driving in a car, they stop, Zelensky government stop the car, pull out a man. He doesn't care even if he has some documents that he's not capable to fight. They don't care about this anymore. You are thrown away to war. They are thrown to fight, grabbed out. I can never suggest something to somebody that I would never do and never allow for my family. It just has to end. And ceasefire doesn't mean the end of the war. And all the ceasefire, it means let's have a breather, let those men breathe for a second, let them sleep, let them eat, let them go home. They have children, they have families, they have mothers, they have wives, they have sisters. No, no, we're gonna be sitting here, eating McDonald's, drinking beer with a huge stomach like this, all comfortable, and say, yeah, you over there, you keep fighting. Yeah. Because you never know what's gonna happen in 5 years. You keep fighting. I'm here comfortable. One thing I just absolutely cannot stand about the keyboard warrior and everybody who wants to talk to me, it's no longer free. I'm tired of listening to your bullshit. You want to talk to me? You have to officially order a consultation. You have to donate to my channel. I'm not talking to anybody because I need to preserve my energy and my time for my family here and for my family in Ukraine and my friends and for the things I do, because unlike some, I don't live on government paychecks. And I love doing my own things. It doesn't matter who is helping, who is supporting me. I love doing my own thing. I love building and creating things, and this pain does not let me to create. If some of you know me, have my Instagram account, I have a glamorous lady store. I love creating beautiful things. I love fashion, I love glamour, but when I'm in this pain, I can barely breathe because I understand that we are on a brink on World War III. How many of you who are threatening me with all these ideas that I don't love my country, how many of you realize that in October 2024, just this past October, there were missiles again, like it was in 1962 in Caribbean crisis, looking at us from Cuba, pointing at the United States. Any encouragement of this conflict will just lead to more and more. You know how they say, if you find yourself in a hole, stop digging. It's as horrible what happened. We can never return those lives. We can never return those children. We can never, I don't think there are certain things that will never be rebuilt. Some of the historical buildings, the suffering of people can never be, you can never take that back. People who suffered, children who saw their moms starving and dying in Mariupol. Yes, Dave, this is exactly why he wants to end it, but starting with ceasefire so everybody could have a breather. We can never return those poor people that suffered, I don't remember, over 100 days in Mariupol, in that factory, people that were bleeding there, wounded. There were mothers that buried their children. I just want you to understand. You probably watched that about Mariupol, but there were people, they were caught in this building for 100 days. So there were mothers holding children, not being able to feed them, to change them, to give them water, give them food, and they watch them die. Do you even realize? I don't realize. I hope I will never realize what it is to look at your child. You cannot give them water, food, they get sick, and they die. They slowly die in your hands. Like, I think this is worse than hell. But we are sitting here, keep fighting. Yeah, keep fighting. You need those territories. I know that you need those territories. You don't need your children. You don't need your wives, your sons. You don't need your civil business buildings standing together. No, no, you don't need that. What you need is you need to keep fighting. And I'm gonna be sitting here once again, munching on my fast food and pretend like I ever learned Ukrainian history. It is a lot more complicated than that. The trauma that is immeasurable. It haunts me to this day. I watched a couple of years ago those people from Mariupol, where children, 7-year-olds, had to bury their mothers because they died from disease and starvation in the closed, cold, dark building in those 100 days. And children who buried their mothers, and mothers who buried their children. And those wounded men, it's hell. There is, I don't watch any of this anymore, but I remember watching some of the clips of the guys, who are just, it's nightmare. It's not an easy death. It's a suffer. It's a torture. When you are wounded and you're falling apart, and your government doesn't care. Where are those $350 billion? Where are they? Why those wounded soldiers were not helped? Where are all those billions? One thing, I love my native country, but one thing that you may not understand, but probably already understand, the corruption is like in its bones. And it's so horrible because the people are most hardworking, the people are most heroic and dedicated. But the people who are in the power in that country is corrupt to the bone. They are corrupt to the bone. It's absolute insanity. So why would you send them money? Why would you send them? The only things they're going to do is put it in their pocket and go buy themselves more mansions, more things, more stuff, make more offshore accounts. I'm not saying don't help people who need help, but you have to enforce ceasefire, enforce something to stop the blood, and then try to do something about it. I grew up there. I know what it is. When I needed to go to a doctor, you need to bring money. When I need any questions to be solved, you need to bring a bribe. And that was on a very low level of that. I was a child. I don't remember. I don't really remember the Soviet time that well, but I remember the post-Soviet time, where no matter where you go, if you don't have something, you have to do it. It's a very rotten and corrupt system, and of course it's so painful to me because it hurts the image of Ukraine, it hurts the image of the country, where we have the polar opposites of people. There are hundreds and thousands of heroes that are just taking their destiny. They given their life for women, for mothers, for children. They given their life, although the best things that they could do for mothers and children is to be alive. I have a major concern for the Ukraine existing, for the demographic situation in Ukraine. You understand, women have nobody to give birth from. So right now these men are wasted. They just throw them in the meat grinder, and then what? It takes 18 years to raise a child, right? who's they gonna, how, when there is no man? I talked to my mother. She's in the city of Lviv. It's a beautiful city, but it's also have some damage now. And she told me when she goes outside, there is nobody, just children and old people, women. Every single day they have funerals. She said I just can't. Is it because they announce every single day there are funerals, and not funerals of old people, not funerals because somebody is old, funerals for young men who were thrown, and not so young men, because everybody gets thrown into this. That's all I want to say. I don't think that it. Tell me how it is not hypocrisy to send people to war, to say keep fighting, keep fighting over there, yeah, and make sure the whole Europe start to fight. Then we're gonna have a world fight. That would be great. How people have the hypocrisy while they're sitting here? I could never, be sitting here in comfort. Maybe I'm dark and cold right now, but still, it's still comfort compared to the war, right? How do you do that? And just say, yeah, you keep fighting over there. Yeah, send your son there, send your father, send your husband, send your brother. I really don't want to curse, but I do. I don't like to, but all Ukrainians, all my friends, we are cursing now like sailors because we have so much frustration in us. And yeah, I mean, you have your opinion, you can keep it. You can open your own channel. You can talk to your mother, to your brother, but sometimes think about that some people have skin in the game. Some people have their family there. Some people have their parents there. Some people have family members who are on the front lines. They want it over. I can guarantee you right now that 99.9% who have somebody on the front line wants this fucking bullshit to end. It's only when you don't have anything there, you want for things to keep going. Yeah, you know what? You know what? You know, real leadership would be if Zelensky would found his balls somewhere and put his screwed up, emasculated ego somewhere aside and realize, okay, I'm losing men, I'm losing my country, I'm not winning them out, I'm outnumbered. The odds are stuck against us. The best I can do is preserve what I have. I need to make that phone call. I need to say, I'm ready. I will do anything for the ceasefire. I will do anything. I think if somebody would tell you, uh, somebody would offer any mother, any father, any young wives who has small children, that would you rather have your father, your child, your brother back, or would you rather have your territories back? What do you think they would choose? Once again, I'm not saying that this is a fair choice. I'm not saying that this is the dream of our lives. I could not envision this in a million years. But all I can tell you that people would say, please bring me my family. Our family is all that we have in this life. And the thing is here, I would understand if that was the very beginning of the conflict. There were big chances, big opportunities. 11 years and hundreds of thousands of people had died. And millions of people, their life disrupted, their ideas, their studying, their children, their families, everything like a house of cards. Everything had fallen apart. So my question is, how many more years would you like to fight till there would be absolutely nobody to live on Ukrainian territory? How many more years would you like, and how many more thousands of men would you like to see dead bleeding in the fields, and how many more years for you Ukraine needs to fight? I think it's pretty obvious that after 11 years of total war and 3 years of a full scale war, how many more? How many more disruptions? How many places of no return? How many lives needs to be lost? I'm just so hurt and so outraged. People don't understand this. Yes, Ukraine needs help. You know what help Ukraine needs? Ukraine needs help is ending the stupid war. That's what the help that Ukraine needs, and not was about. We are not just a biological organism. We have this between our ears, supposedly. Well, we're supposed to use it. In your regular life, you may not like a lot of people. Do you come and hope that they have a knife and you have a knife? Or that is you hope that they have a gun and you have a gun? How many often do you take risk? Or if you know that this person have an ill intention, you try to do something about it. You don't really want to fight them because you want to be alive. You want to live the life you were supposed to live. You want to take care of your family. You don't want to lose everything to prove something to somebody. We supposed to use this, and each time the war happens, each time the war takes place, it means a complete and utter failure of the diplomacy. They all fail at diplomacy. The one who started it, the one who responded and put all his might into it, and those who were sending this amounts of help that went into the pocket of corrupt politician. They all failed at diplomacy, at negotiations. Everybody's blaming the American president for this, that, and the other, but he's the only one who is understanding that this needs to be resolved. He is trying to use common sense. He is trying to look at this and say, okay, can we save what we still have? Can we save it? Can we not encourage the person that already everybody knows what he is about? Everyone already knows what this person is about. I'm talking about the horrific and tyrannical leadership in Russia. Everyone knows it, but making it worse when you're being attacked, making it worse, is it really beneficial to make it worse? And you know what? The tyranny in Russia also won't live forever. I think a lot of people in Russia, they're very afraid. They're afraid to lose their life. They don't have true democracy there. I mean, they don't have any democracy there right now. They would throw people to jail when they try to protest. Yes, ideally would be if people in Russia will realize that this is a massive disaster, and this man, the leader, so to speak, of Russia, I remember him my entire life. My entire adult life, he was in power. As long as I remember myself, I remember him being in power of Russia. Ideally would be if people would not put responsibility on American president to take care of Russian president. He cannot come and take him down. He doesn't have that kind of power. Ideally would be if people of Russia would realize, okay, this man screwing us, first of all, torturing innocent people in Ukraine. This man screwing us over. This man is bringing nothing but death and destruction. He doesn't care about Russia. He doesn't care about Ukraine. He doesn't care about the world. It's time for him to go. How many decades was he in power? Who can count? How many decades he was in power? Was he in power? And what? He is, I think he has almost as much money that he stole as Elon Musk. By the way, I was grieving the death of Navalny last year, and I was grieving his death. He tortured him. He didn't have to kill him. Please watch a documentary, phenomenal documentary about Putin on Navalny channel. I forgot what is the name of Navalny. Just put Navalny documentary. You will find he made a tremendous documentary about Putin, about phenomenal work. I think it has like hundreds of millions of views, and unfortunately he died for freedom. He died for that. But coming back to the people of Russia, I really wish that people of Russia would realize, you know what, there are so many of us. We don't want people in Ukraine to die, but we also don't want to send our sons into the meat grinder too. I wish that people would get up. There is no way that in Russia they have enough of jail for hundred thousands of people, or 200, or a million of people, like it was in 1991, you know, like it was in 1991. I wish that people would realize, oh my gosh, not now, years back, but especially now. But I think some people are completely brainwashed in the propaganda. Some people are scared of their shadow. Some people, and I understand them, they're afraid for their family. I understand them, but the thing is, they have the power that we don't. They have millions and millions and millions of people, different nationalities in different republics, and if all of these people would go outside, do you imagine there is no police power, there is no jail cell, there is nothing. If they would just, if that would be amazing, if they would feel that it's time to overthrow this government. But it did not happen, unfortunately. Unfortunately, it did not happen, you know. Oh, sadly, it did not happen. They were not able to plan, you know, use some kind of platform and plan for hundreds and thousands of people to go outside. I can guarantee you, you can overthrow any power when you have so many people. There is no, you know, no police can take care of that. No police force can take care of millions outraged people. I wish that that would happen, but now the world blames the American president that he cannot take down Putin, or what he can do to Putin. He doesn't have power to change the leader in another country. The only thing he's trying to do is to kind of show him. Do you understand? It's a fake friendship. Have you never done something when you need to survive? Have you never pretend you like somebody so you can survive? Have you never in a business, in a work environment, you know, I hate the fakeness, but absolutely, if I can say save my child's life, my mother's life, anybody's life by being fake and being fake nice, I will do it in a heartbeat to save the life. And that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to be nice to him. Although today he signed, because the Russia, I don't understand also how, I don't understand when these peace talks will actually take place, because the bombarding of Kiev and Odessa and Kryvyi Rih and other cities are intensifying. You know, it's intensifying. And United States president today signed a deal to, not a deal, I'm sorry, signed more, um, oh my God, my brain is glitching at this point. Whew, signed more restrictions, more consequences. How, I forgot this word. What, more, not consequences. Who can help me? Uh, American president today, due to Russia pounding Ukraine, signed more. I forgot the word. I'm sorry. Thank you so much for the super chats. I don't have a super chat yet. Sanctions. Thank you, Rosalinda. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yes, he signed today more sanctions for Russia. But honestly, guys, when it comes to lives, I mean, I'm glad that he did. He signed a bunch of very harsh sanctions, as far as I understood. But honestly, sanctions versus lives, it's not strong enough. People need to be willing at this point to negotiate peace. That's all there is to it. We need peace, 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 peace. Ceasefire. I mean, it's still ways for the peace. Okay, I completely agree with it, but at least ceasefire. I'm gonna read this. Based on the fact that Russia is absolutely pounding Ukraine on the battlefield right now, I'm strongly considering large-scale banking sanctions and tariffs on Russia until the ceasefire and a final settlement agreement of the peace is reached. To Russia and Ukraine, get to the table right now before it's too late. Oh my goodness. Thank you. I want to thank you those. Thank you guys so much for supporting me. Um, Jason, thank you for the look. Okay, let's not to threaten each other here. People who don't think the way I think are still welcome. I'm not I don't want to get into the threatening game. Okay, we're not blocking anybody, we're not threatening anybody right at this moment. Jason, thank you so much, and I want to thank to David. David, thank you so much for the PayPal. I really appreciate. Thank you for appreciating my time. Thank you for your super chats. My channel will be monetized soon again, so if you uh, want to show your appreciation, then it will be easier to do. But you can support me still on PayPal or what it is, Cashapp or Coffee Site. If you want to buy me a cup of coffee, no. If you want to buy me a cup of vodka, please go full ahead. I need a cup of vodka. No, I actually don't like vodka. Whiskey is better. Whiskey is much better. All right, I missed a lot of comments today. I'm gonna read a few comments, guys. I have about 10-15 minutes top. I can also look those comments that I don't see. I can look on my laptop. I can see the comments there once the live is over. You can also, if I did not read your comment, if I didn't respond to your comment, please write it under the video because I would like to know what you think. I would like to see your thoughts. Even if you completely disagree with me, even if you cannot stand me or completely have the counterpoint, feel free to write it under the video because I won't be able to read all the messages. I'm gonna read a few comments. I'm sorry, there is more comments today than usually, and oh man, I really love talking about love and connection. If you ask me, that's my topics. Uh, Carlo is saying, hi Veronica, yes, I agree. As the leader of your country, your ego and your pride must take a back seat to the lives and well being of your people. You're supposed to take care of them, not play alpha games. Thank you so much, Carlo. I completely on the same page with you. Exactly. We talk about masculinity and femininity here. He thinks that he's being the man, the alpha. He didn't give in um to the President Trump. He was standing on his own. No. He sacrificed more people. He sacrificed more thousands of people being murdered, slaughtered, while he was comfortably sitting in the Oval Office in his ugly outfit. I made a video about outfit. It's very short. I mean, yeah, he puts on a good show, but now people see through it. He used to put a better show. People can see through his insecurity now, his doubts, and he's wearing his battlefield outfit is not convincing anybody. He might as well wear a suit again because he's not convincing anyone in anything. Thank you, Carlo. I completely agree. When you love your people, when you love your family, when you love anybody, you put a true leader, put his ego on the back seat. He is not competing like in middle school or high school. He is realizing, okay, every second that I procrastinate, every second of this, somebody is going to die. Somebody is going to be forever gone. The families will lose their father, brother, sister, daughter, because there are women on the front lines, and also they are hitting so many apartment buildings and houses. That too. You can see that. Thank you, Jason. Yes, I want to be elegant. I want to be feminine. I don't want to talk about these things, but I'm just so in so much pain. Oh, I studied political science in my school, in my college. It was I have huge passion for it, but I decided to not go that direction because I know I would turn into an animal. I wanted to be a woman. I wanted to be feminine. I wanted to pursue more pleasant things for a good reason. I studied diplomacy as well, and I can tell that that's something that's currently missing. Um, I'm gonna read some of the comments. Terrible, terrible conditions. That's awful. So much of money, supplies, equipment, are not making it to the fighting. Yes, you know and even if they make it at this point right now, 11 years after the whole conflict, it means more destruction, more war, more death. This is not the competition with the armor anymore. It is a time to just call it, just end it, you know, just call it a day, as they say in America. Okay, I'm not gonna read stupid comments, okay? Oh, yeah, sadly. You know, we all would love Russia to leave Ukraine, but they are not leaving. Obviously, we all would like it. How? What is your plan? How? What we supposed to do? Yes, it upsets me too. The people who tend to say they should keep fighting are the first to run away from the personal accountability, and they expect other people to clean up the mess. Yes, and they're sitting there, fat and comfortable in their chair. I don't, some people writing me as if I am, Donald Trump best friend or I'm his right hand. I am just like you, looking at this mess and trying to make sense of it. Okay, I'm gonna go to the very bottom, guys, because too many comments. Oh my goodness. You don't have to block anybody, Jason. I'm kind today. I have face, but I don't want men to disappear from the planet Earth. Katie, do you have a father? Do you have a son? Do you have a husband? If you feel this way, they are taking volunteers right now. It's a very big question, Gavin. Thanks for joining. I might make some different kind of videos where I can go into this, but I think it was a big plan that started in 1994 because the Russia wasn't happy that big parts of their interested territories of their interest went to Ukraine. And that's why they just offered us to be a peaceful friend without the nuclear. But caused the war, the weakest president of all in America that gave green light to Russia. He literally gave him green light, took the Peace Corps, Peace Corps troops, Peace Corps soldiers, and just gave them green light. It was an opportunity of a lifetime for Putin to come in. It will never be like this. We'll hopefully never have a man whose brain is fried, who doesn't know what day it is, what country it is, what anybody named this. He called Zelensky Putin. He called Ukrainian people Iranian people, and it just, you know, Yeah, I feel sorry for people who don't understand that somebody Zelensky, once again, for those who don't know, Zelensky was elected only because he promised to end the war. The war on the east of Ukraine started in 2014. The war on the eastern Ukraine started in 2014. And Zelensky was, when he was elected, he promised, he said that I will literally get on my knees before Putin for the war conflict on the east to end. When he was elected, he turned 180 and he is playing these games 3 years later when full scale invasion and we are running out of men. I want you to tell you, let let me just tell you this. We don't have men to fight. Whatever is left is not gonna last long. What's next? What is the plan? Let's say I agree with you. Let's say, okay, yes, let's show Russia. With who? You want women to go fight? You want children to go fight? You want people from other countries come and then we have World War III? Like, what is your plan? What is your great plan for this? No matter how you slice it, Ukraine is not winning this. And it, the, there is no winners in the war anyway. When you lose hundreds of thousands of soldiers on both sides, you can't call it a win, no matter how you try. So, yeah, what is the plan? They have to. You don't understand the Tetsaka, this government force that goes around malls, shops, cafes, streets, cars. They stop cars on the streets. They pull the men out. They grab them, fold them, put them into a car, throw to the battlefield. We don't have normal men to fight. So all these great ideas are wonderful, but we don't have a man to fight. Like, how don't you understand this? It's great. It's like, it's like you're hungry, you're homeless, and somebody tells you, go home and eat. And you're like, well, I'd love to, but I don't have a home and I don't have food. Thank you, Jesus is King. I appreciate you. Michelle Spencer, thank you. Yeah, what is it like? We're not winning this, and I'm from Ukraine. You have to understand, for those who just joined, I'm from Ukraine. I live in the United States. I respect this country. I respect what I have. Most of all, I respect having peaceful sky. I have family, and you know what it is. When you have family, it's like your heart is moving from your chest to the family members that you love. You know how it is. It's not. It's. I would choose death any day over seeing somebody I love in a front line or being hurt or wounded or sacrificed. I choose death any day. I would rather choose a bullet and my life than seeing my son, my nephew, the man I love, my mom, anybody, brother, seeing them bleeding somewhere, fighting for nothing. I choose, but especially the son, the nephew. I would rather die. And not just me, any mothers who are watching me right now, please tell me, what is the worst thing on the planet Earth? We all know there is only one thing for us that is we cannot survive, we cannot be alive. It's when something is wrong with our child or children in our family, maybe nephews, our those that were precious, that we love with all our heart. There is no life after that. And I appreciate the strength in men. I appreciate strong men, and I admire strong men, and I try to um, always encourage that. Oh, I got too overheated, my dear friends. I'm so passionate about it. I want to be back to being a woman. By being a woman, I'm not very masculine in the way I like to operate. I like being in my feminine. I like roses and pretty teacups and pretty dresses and pretty furs. You know, that is my drug from this crazy life. I love beauty. I like love. I like all these sweet, beautiful things. But I just can't stay quiet. And so many people are trying to shut me down, trying to, you know, to just say that I'm the enemy. No, I just know that, you know, when you unarmed, when you lost most of your resources, your best bet is to find a way, to stop it. You need to put all of your effort rather than saying, well, what if they will do this? What if they would do? You don't know what someone will do, but it's hell of a lot better to try to make it happen with all your might rather than speculate what if this, what if that, and meanwhile you lose thousands of people. Meanwhile, you lose thousands of people. Um, my family, part of my family and close friends are in Ukraine, but I'm a U.S. citizen, and I live in United States. By the way, everybody who is new and full of common sense, I appreciate you being on this live stream. And I would absolutely love to have you on my channel. So you're very welcome if you enjoy, not that enjoy, but if you operate from common sense and you have certain values, you're very welcome to to join my channel, subscribe. I would be very, very glad to see you here. And even if you don't quite feel the same way, you are still welcome. I try not to threaten people and call their names, but I have to be real. You know, I have a lot of skin in this game. I don't want to say too much, but there are people that are close family members that are fighting right now, and believe me, they are trying to be as manly as they are, but they just can't go on anymore. They are on their last leg. Yeah, so many comments. I wish, I'm gonna look at the comments once the live is over and I'm on my laptop. Thank you so much for those. I'm from Ukraine originally, but I live in United States. Welcome, welcome everybody. Yes, I'm really proud of Italian leader. You know, it's like when a woman has to play the role of a man. It's insane. What? Uh, I want to say thank you to Diane. Diane, thank you so much for the super chat, or I guess for the Cash App, and also Kyle. I guess Kyle, thank you so much for the PayPal. With your help watching and with your help commenting, we can get the channel going. And I really want to hear from people. If you're here, please put a like. Even, if you take part in this discussion, put a like. Put a like and a comment, and if you put a lot of effort once again to write in your comment while I was live, please, after this live is over, feel free to confront me, feel free to criticize me, feel free to state your opinion, and also, of course, feel free to support me if you agree with the points that I made. Yes. I'm taking the weekend off from the lives. I want to enjoy life. I want to spend time with family. Yes, and tomorrow, guys, I'm so sad, but tomorrow it's 8th of March. It's our women celebration of women, beauty, and spring holiday. And despite of all these events, we're gonna get together with the Ukrainian community here in US. We're all gonna wear pretty dresses, florals and pinks, and have tea. And we're not gonna let this mess to steal away those moments of joy. So we're celebrating. It's gonna be ladies only. We're just celebrating each other, celebrating beauty, inspiration, aesthetics, and beautiful, gorgeous things. And I am in so much pain, but I know. So tomorrow I'm not watching news. I'm not going live for the weekend, and then I want to spend time with my family. And I wish also I want to tell you this, guys. Please spend more time with your family. Never in a million years would I think that in Ukraine we would go that Russia and Ukraine would have such conflict. Never in a million years. I grew up there. I want to tell you, for those who don't know me, my name is Veronica. I'm from Ukraine. I went to school, all the years of school and then college. In my college we had people from west of Ukraine, east of Ukraine, center of Ukraine, Russia, Belarus. We had very, very mixed, Georgia, Armenia. We had mix of people in my college days, and we all got along. I speak every Ukrainian dialect, although where I was born, my first language is Russian, because I was born in Kiev, Ukraine, and this is where, unless you are from the village, if you're from the big city, usually your Russian is usually, yeah, Moldova, all of these countries, you usually speak uh, Russian, but I speak obviously fluent official Ukrainian and also a bunch of dialects. And so it's just, it's there is something about, when you grow up somewhere, it's embedded in you. You can never not be. Yes, you evolve, you change, you maybe become a person of the world. I always loved international things. I love learning things. I don't just identify by the country I was born. We can really enrich our worldview. We can be a person of the planet, person of the world. And I love people. I love cultures. I love beauty, aesthetic, architecture. The list goes on. Yeah, but I just want to say that not in a million years, not in my worst dreams, not I could never imagine this. Also, I do remember when I learned about the 1994 agreements and demilitarization or denuclearization of Ukraine, I was just wondering why. I remember thinking I remember thinking why, but I didn't really pay attention to that much. However, my grandmother, I shared this in another video, that she saw through this, and she used to tell me that you need to leave. You have no idea what is gonna be here. And she almost like spoke under her breath. And I was like, what are you talking about? You know how older people, they always exaggerating everything. And I was like, what are you talking about? That was my thought. And even my father didn't take it seriously. Also, he was extremely smart when it come to geopolitics. He was brilliant. And I studied international relationships in college, in diplomacy, in history, and all these things. I had a huge passion for it. I wanted to work in an embassy, but back then, if I would work in the embassy back when I was graduating, I would be earning about $50 a month. After 4 or 5 years of college, I would be making $50 a month plus other conditions that I don't want to mention on this live stream. So I chose to go a different route. I'm just sharing this with those who may be seeing me for the first time. Okay, Katie's writing something. The talent show is my favorite from Ukraine. Why? I don't even know, but everyone loves Ukrainians because the USA and Canada took many Ukrainians in there as refugees, and we remember. Yeah, I know we have so much talent in Ukraine. I mean, don't get me wrong. Every country, every nationality has talents, but Ukrainian people seem to really exceed in like art, back in time, like art, literature, dance, music, mm, aesthetics, anything beautiful, like living in the United States is really hard to find for us, like aesthetically things that we like. I love vintage stuff and retro stuff because it reminds me of the kind of things that I love, the kind of beauties that I love, classic and gorgeous, so I don't like so much the modern culture. I don't like it at all. I don't like when women don't take any effort in their appearance, in their femininity. I don't like men that feels that they can be women and be lazy. What for a man lazy, for a woman is relaxed. But yes, we do have a lot of talent in our country for sure. And also, one thing that we do have definitely is resilience. Resilience, resilience, resilience. Thank you, Katie. I appreciate that. Yes, I think it's good to be. It's not like you can change from where you are from, but I think cultural things unite people. I mean, cultural things are very interesting about people, and cultural things do form us. And I think, you know, love for aesthetics, love for beauty, love for order, love for high standards in life, love for self-expression and extreme resilience. It's probably could define a lot of people from Ukraine. I mean, most people, I just want to tell you, most people who come from Ukraine to US, for example, who immigrate, they don't live on a welfare checks. I don't count people who had to flee with a war and lost everything and lived for 6 months using food stamps. I'm talking about, and most people I know that had food stamps for 6 months when they were admitted to US, none of them using them anymore. They all work. They all trying. A lot of people trying to open their own little business. Some bake. mm, some do art. Like all of Slavic peoples that I personally know usually strive for something. And yes, we are hard on our children. That is true. We love our children to the point of madness, but we are much stricter to our children than average, than the average, in the West. Yes, we are strict. We are very loving. We are very affectionate. Always, almost through the roof, like my son told me. Always too much. um but we are very strict and hard on our children because we don't want this. We don't want boys act lazy, not motivated, being disrespectful. We have to put things in the place. You know what I mean. Well, if you guys just joined, please feel free to rewatch the live. I have to go. I didn't really plan to go live, but well, my brain planned to go live because I had the debate in my mind, getting all the comments and all the things. But please just understand, Ukraine, just any other country, want to come back to living life. Ukraine wants to come back to children to be able to just go to school, to men and women be able to go to work, to men and women be able to create family, getting married, having children, taking care of their homes. We don't want to, nobody wants to keep this up. Absolutely no one. Maybe the governments, the corrupt governments do, but people don't. Nobody wants to keep fighting. Nobody wants to keep the blood. People, you have to understand something else. What I hear from my friends, and it makes me cry. I don't know, this one is hard for me to digest. When I talk to my family and friends in Ukraine, they just dream about what you have right now. What you guys have right now, you joining from different states and countries right now. And thank you for all these great comments today. I promise you I'm going to read them all once I'm on my laptop just to feel that feedback from you. Uh, people in a war zone just have a they a dream about the life you have. They a dream for children just to be able to go to school, for them to be able to have their mom and dad, husband and wife, to just get together, sit at the big table, family getting together. They just want to have things that we wake up. They want to go back to work. They want to go back to school. They want to go back to. They just dream of having a normal day. Like a normal day as tomorrow, most people who will wake up here will be like, oh, just another day. But for people who are in a war zone, waking up, especially on the front lines, waking up in a bed that's warm, having hot meal, having your loved ones, it's like epitome of the dream. It's like incredible joy, and we have it, and we just I had mixed feelings, living in the United States. There are ups and downs, there are big bonuses and certain disadvantages. It's always like this when you're an immigrant. But when the war had started, I literally prayed every single day in the morning when I would go in the summer and I hear the birds on my porch, and I would just be tearing up and just being so happy that um, I can have peace, and I can also help some of my family members to have that peace. It's hard to explain, but we really don't appreciate what we have, when you just wake up and it's just peaceful, and you can just have a moment to yourself. In You don't have to worry about your child being hurt, or your father or your husband or your brother. You can just be, you can create, you can do so much with your day. Like, I really felt it. I really truly felt it in my heart. Things never tasted so good. I realized that, if I'm in this position, I should help. I may not be able to help the whole world. I may not be able to help as many people as I wish I could, but I just wanted to help certain people that I can. Some my family members, some people that I didn't know, and I want to thank those of you on my channel. I know some of you OGs here, from you've been here during the war when I was going live, and I collected, we collected, not me, we collected some funds, and they were sent to people in Ukraine. They helped. They were used for buses, for money, for food, for clothes, for train tickets. I could not believe the amount of money that we collected. And it was so interesting. I have my friend, I don't know, my friend Mark, I don't know if he's watching, he gave me that idea. At first, I was very shy, very uncomfortable. I felt like I cannot do that, because, there are official organizations, there are organizations for different official organizations where you can donate in Ukraine, like for the army and Red Cross. But I did feel that I would like to donate this family that I know, and that family, and like, I wanted to do like a local fund. But I never done this before. So thank you, CCGB. You're the absolute sweetheart. Thank you. So it felt so healing. Even I don't know exactly how many people we helped, but all of the help that was sent through my channel went to exact people with a name, number, whether they were staying and they needed food and just survival, or they were living and they needed some funds. And that was such a beautiful thing. And I want to end this life with saying this. you know we can talk forever, we can do all these discussions, and we'll never prove anything to anybody. Probably, most likely it is important to hear and understand another person's argument. But one of the most beautiful thing is that if you can even just help one person, if you can help one person, you can truly change the world. And that is one of the beautiful things, when my heart hurts and I feel like this world is unacceptable, you feel overwhelmed, it's such a beautiful thing when you can just help one person. We are right now, all of us in the chat, we are in some way under attack. Under attack, not literally, thank God, but most of us under attack of information. Information, the tabloids everywhere, this, that, the other. Because media, that's the only way for them to be relevant and make money. And that's why we are consistently bombarded with, how do you create a beautiful painting on art or create a business when you are bombarded and you see all the disasters and tragedy. And I very much agree that you should know what's going on in the world, but it's so important to put some kind of a personal goal. When you put a personal goal for yourself, something you want to achieve, create, so you don't gift those people who create disaster your life, you don't distract your life, because we were not meant to know all this information. We were not meant to know what's going on everywhere in the world. We were not meant to see all the horrible things and accidents and war and terrible things. We were not meant to see all this. It's a huge distraction. It's a stress factor. It's very, very painful. And so, for me, I think as most Ukrainians who live abroad, I could recognize people here in US who were from Ukraine, the first stop, when the war started full scale, because we were all walking in tears. We were like in the movie. I could recognize, I would come and say hello. I could just know that. But the only way for us was to be able to survive and enjoy life was like to kind of deal with this was to help people. That's all I'm trying to say, that the only way for us to feel some sense, to feel like we can contribute something, it was to do some little acts of kindness to people. Because I have so many connections, it was very easy, to send some donations and send some supplies exactly directly to certain people, because I just knew who to send, and that was important. I didn't feel like sending money to organizations, even though back then I didn't realize. I had a feeling that money gonna be stolen, but I did not realize the extent of it. And I don't think that it's necessarily bad to donate to organizations, because a lot of them do things, but it was very satisfying to help some people. Some people here in US hosted families. Some people sent really amazing supplies. A lot of people send cash. I think when we are doing something, and if you don't know, you cannot send anything to anybody, I think it's important to start taking care of our neighbors again, because we are all so distracted, and we are all spending hours sometimes in useless debates. We're spending hours in useless debates, and nothing comes out of it. Okay, что это за придурок? I don't care, иди нахуй. Реально, иди нахуй. А то и дальше. Понял? Надеюсь, тебе там очень понравится. Sorry, I had to do it. Давай свои советы своему пидорасу-лидеру, понял? И всем овцам, которые не могут свергнуть одного человека, за которым миллионы смертей, который обокрал вас и поимел вас, как не знаю кого. Так что сиди и молчи там, умник великий. Сиди уже. Alright, guys, let me calm down. Пидорас конченый. No, don't translate it whatsoever. Not a good idea. Yes. All right, my dear friends. Don't come down. Yeah. Спасибо, Ирина. Спасибо, Ирина. Разумничался тут, блин. Из-за того, что они не могут убрать своего урода, весь мир должен быть в крови. This Russian guy was saying something, giving us advice what we need to do, and I told him to go love himself, because you know what I mean. Because of their bloody leader, you know, we're swimming in the blood. The world is distracted. Everything is falling apart, but because they don't have the balls to overthrow their stupid government. I'm not gonna translate what I said, but Irina knows. Or Inna, I'm sorry, Inna knows. That was good. I wasn't trying to use too many curse words because, you know, God knows who is watching me at the moment. Well, it's not about, I'm talking right now from the beginning, you know, Putin have been in power, guys. As long as I remember myself being an adult, he's been in power. How many years, you know, do you remember how many years he's been, like 20 years? He's been in power for decades, you know, like nobody in US can go more than 2 terms. In United States, you cannot go longer than 2 terms. In Russia, he's on 10th term or what? 5 terms, 7 terms, 900 terms? I don't know how many decades. How many decades he's in power. And you know, one thing I want to say, that the big difference between Putin and Trump. Putin, he robs his country. He just robs it. You know, he has almost as many billions as Elon Musk. But look at Elon Musk and what he creates. He lives in a bunker. He lives like in this little, he doesn't even own a home with all the 390 billions. But, you know, with Putin, he robs it. He has billions of dollars in his offshore accounts. He has castles. He doesn't invest in his country. If he loved his country, imagine if he would invest at even part of those billions in his economy, in his hospitals, in his railroads. I am not saying Moscow and St. Petersburg or Yekaterinburg, but all the other cities. There is poverty, there is destruction in all those Russian cities. He could, instead of fighting Ukraine and try to take more territories, he is not even taking care of his territories. A lot of his stuff is not even taken care of, you know. Unless you are in a big city in Russia, if you're in those smaller remote places, it's a mess. People are drinking, there is no jobs, the hospitals are falling apart. Сука, выключи свои фары уже, твою мать. Hospitals are falling apart, you know, things are falling apart. He doesn't invest in his economy. He doesn't invest in his how you call it, in his science, in medicine, you know. So wait, no, I'm sorry. I want to add a little bit more light. Yeah, he doesn't really invest in his people, in development of his country, in science, in medical system, in medical research. He doesn't invest in anything. Yes, if you would go to nicer cities, to, like, you know, bigger cities, it's beautiful. Yes, it's beautiful. You know, Moscow, St. Petersburg, and some other bigger cities, yes, they're more or less taken care of. But, you know, compare that to the entire country. That's not that much. Compared to the entire country, that's nothing. So he invests in his offshore accounts, his little group, and his mansions. If Putler really ever loved his country, he would never attack Ukraine. He would put some of those billions into his own country, and then he could have a reason to be prideful when he could say, you know what, even in the smallest city we have the best hospitals, even in the smallest cities we have the best schools. You know, the salaries in a in those cities are so tiny, 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 tiny. But he invests in his offshore accounts. That's what he does. He invests in war, in destruction. That's what he does. He invests in destructions, and he's just a psychopath. If somebody thinks that I sympathize to Putin, you're so wrong on so many levels. I know he's a maniac, he's a psychopath, he's a dictator, and he definitely does not love his country. He's sending his children to death. You know, I watched the Mother's Parade last year. It was heartbreaking. And the thing is, a lot of Russian people believe in propaganda that United States is trying to erase Russia. A lot of people believe in his propaganda. A lot of mothers. I watched a speech of a mother that was getting like some recognition from him. Her son died in the war, and I could tell those are not necessarily bad people, but they believe him. They were brainwashed for decades, and they believe that United States is evil, and that the United States is trying to delete Russia. They believe that United States is attacking Russia, and so the Russian soldiers who are dying, that they are heroes. Oh, let me tell you. Yeah, the salaries are nothing. All right, ignoring the stupid questions. Yes, Elon did give it away, give the Starlink and helped a lot, you know, but Elon is not driven by money. Elon is not driven by offshore accounts. Elon, he could have stopped doing his thing years ago and just enjoy and party with the palms and, I don't know, champagne. Elon is the kind of guy, he is not from this world, you know, he's not a human. He is extremely driven, he's brilliant, he's genius, and he's extremely driven. Yes, we cannot understand him, trust me. He's not like you and me, okay? Let's just agree that he has, I actually don't think that it's a bad idea that he has so many children, because when you have such DNA, and you, well, obviously he has billions of dollars, so those children will never starve. You know, I prefer, of course, the classic family situation, but Elon is an exception, because when you are a genius, a brilliant man, you should have a lot of children, because you need to spread the DNA. So we have more Elons, we have more SpaceX and Starlinks and things like that. You know, I don't condemn him on the outside. I don't think it's bad. I think it's brilliant. I think he is brilliant, and I don't agree with everything he says, but you guys, you have to understand he has autism, so don't take everything and go be upset. The reason why I respect him is because he builds stuff. You know, we have so many politicians that cannot even do their job. They supposed to be diplomats. They supposed to never. When you have diplomats, the war should never start, because the whole point of diplomacy is the ability to avoid blood confrontation, right? The whole point, war is always a fail of democracy. When there is a war, it means that war is a fail, well, democracy too, but war is a fail of diplomacy. The moment there is war, that all the diplomats, all the diplomats, they all had failed on all the sides. The moment the war starts, they had failed. They should be fired, because the whole reason why we pay them to speak for us. We pay them to prevent things and to consider our interests. We pay them to negotiate the best deals. Their job is not to mind call, their job to talk. And they cannot even talk. They cannot talk. They cannot talk for our benefit. So absolutely, I find, Russian leadership as horrific dictatorships that have been there for decades. Decades. It's like imprisonment for the people. And unfortunately, the Ukrainian leadership turned out to be just as evil, because when you sacrifice your own people in hundreds of thousands, millions of destinies, you get your country to be ruined, demolished, parts of it demolished, for your ego, for your size measuring contest. You are evil. When you send the equipment you got for people to help people to fight, you sell it, there is a special place for you in hell. And that's all. That's all that I can say. Zelensky is unfortunately evil. I agree. Uh, it's not a contest. They all absolutely horrific. Guys, I'm so glad we are doing it. I'm doing this talk. I'm getting this out of my chest today and sharing with you. But I really, and I really appreciate having you here. I want to have, more inspiring topics, but I just want to tell you before I go that thank you, peace and believe. Oh, thanks so much for the light in my face. But yes, Turkey stands with Ukrainian people. Well, good. Well, Turkish leader has his own thing going on, but I just want everybody to stand with peace, and I just want people to understand that I know a lot of people wish the best to Ukraine, but please don't wish us to fight. Please, I mean us. I still say us. Also, I'm an American citizen, but I still have family in Ukraine, and I have a lot of connections, close friends, and so on. So yes, I just want to say that. Um, don't wish Ukraine to. If you got anything out of this video, please, uh, don't wish Ukraine to be in a war. Don't wish Ukraine to fight. Don't wish it. Wish us peace. Wish us healing. Wish us recovery. Wish us prosperity. Wish us to be back, Ukrainians, to be back to normal, and wish us all peace and strong leadership in our country, so we can do what we do best, so we can take care of our family, of our people. I really truly think that we don't know what we have till we lose it. We really don't know what we have. We don't know what happiness it is to. That's why I'm taking weekends off, like Saturdays, Sundays off the YouTube, because I feel like we should make and spend time with family. We should even take break from news and appreciate and love, because we only have one life, and sometimes when you feel anxiety and all these things, it's hard to connect, it's hard to do things. And I also have one rule: tomorrow we're gonna have gathering, and a lot of my friends know about my strong positions. Some agree with them, some not. But when I'm on people, when I'm gonna be wearing my pretty dress tomorrow for the 8th of March, it's a celebration of spring, women, and beauty. I am not telling one word of what I said today. I'm just gonna be like, I'm just gonna be having my cup of tea, my glass of wine. We're gonna have roses and flowers and all this, and I'm gonna wear some pretty dress, and I'm gonna be like, like a total bimbo, just I'm just gonna be laughing and flirting and having fun. I think that one of the anti-war secrets is that we need to allow ourselves to be happy and be alive. I was watching a psychologist. A lot of people in Ukraine is severely struggling right now with depression, with trauma. Even here I feel anxiety and pain. Imagine being there. Trauma, anxiety, depression, apathy, not willing to live. And her advice, this amazing lady psychology advice, was you absolutely have to be alive. You know, while you are alive, you have to live. You have to not feel guilty, to feel happy, to laugh and smile. People in Ukraine feel like, oh, this is not a good time to laugh, not a good time to dress up, not a good time to smile, not a good time to have, fun times. And she said, you absolutely have to laugh and smile and have the best times. Even if you're there, even if you are abroad, you absolutely have to have these moments when you're fully alive and you're not thinking about anything but yourself and those who are right near you. That you absolutely must switch off your brain, because we hadn't talked about this today, but we can only imagine what mental tortures people are going through when you can just die from depression and anxiety, when you are in it all day long. So yeah, you need to force yourself basically to do things for yourself and for your family despite of the crazy circumstances. I'm sorry guys for this insane lighting, but that's all I have right now. Yeah. Yeah, I've talked about. So guys, if you just only join, I made a lot of very straight points in the beginning of this video, then it's kind of went all over the place. But um yes, if you enjoy my talks, you can, maybe you're doing something, maybe you're walking, maybe you're doing your housework. I know it's a very long video, but you can watch it. I made a lot of points in the beginning of the video. And thank you everybody who commented. I will be able to see some of your comments, maybe most of your comments on my laptop. If you put a lot of effort to write comments and share your thoughts, and I did not respond and read your comment, because if I do, we will be here till tomorrow morning. Please write those comments under the video so I can respond to you. Try to respond to all of my comments. So I try to respond to all my comments. I'm gonna be back next week. We might talk something about the events, but let's talk about some other more inspiring things. If you enjoy my channel, I would love to see you here again. Um, Thank you for those who supported my stream via PayPal and via coffee.com. I appreciate your support a lot. And most importantly, I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you commenting. And слава Украине, слава мир. У меня новое высказывание мир, мир, мир. Я не знаю, если Инна еще здесь. Инна, спасибо большое за поддержку. Я видела ваш комментарий. Мне очень приятно. Спасибо большое. Все, кто понимает русский, українську теж можу. Дуже дякую всім, хто був зі мною, хто розуміє українську також і російську. Всем большое спасибо. Thank you so much, my dear friends. I was hoping it wouldn't be so long, but it's so nice to be able to share the thoughts. Once again, please don't wish us war, wish us peaceful resolution, smooth negotiation, peace deal, recovery, good economy, house, soldiers home. That's all we want. That's all we need. All right, my dear friends, I will see you very soon. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining. I will see you on Monday. Thank you.